Hey there, I'm Sully, and welcome to the Gun Club. Talk about some of the case updates that are coming out. Now, first case update. We've been following the Richneck school shooting, Richneck, Virginia. If you recall, back in January of this year, a 6-year-old child shot his teacher, Abby Zwenner, in her hand. He had the gun with him in school all day, had a really good rant stream about this one. The assistant principal or administrator, some level, had been notified 4 times that day that one of the first graders had brought a pistola to school, and she did nothing about it. As a result of doing nothing about it, well, the kid had the gun with him all day. That afternoon, after threatening a kid with it on the playground, the kid reported it to his teacher. His teacher also went to said administrator and said he saw the gun. Well, the principal had done basically nothing, had searched the desk or searched the kid's book bag, but didn't find the gun, didn't know where it was. So, wham, bam, yeah. He pulls it out and starts whipping it around at his teacher. His teacher walks towards him, puts her hand up in a defensive position, gets around, threw her hand into her chest. Fortunately, she's doing okay. She's out of the hospital. They did leave one of the bullet in her chest for whatever reason. Not sure the reasoning behind that, but she is at home. She's recovering. She's got a long way to go. Let's face it. First grade teacher gets shot. Hey, give her great props for getting the kids out and taking care of that, but we have the question. Here's the question that's been answered. How in the hell did a 6-year-old walk in with a Taurus 9mm to school? Where in the hell did a 6-year-old get a Taurus 9mm? Now, personally, nothing against Taurus. I think they make some decent guns. Definitely, not super high tier price range. Most of them fairly reliable, safe. But where's this kid get this? Well, Mom had bought the gun. Mom's put out a letter by way of her attorney about a week after it happened, stating that the gun was always kept locked up on an upper shelf and the kid could never have gotten it. Well, I guess we know how true that is. As far as the kid getting the gun, I don't know how it happened. I have no clue how it happened. You can go back, look at my rant stream on this over Richneck School. I did a couple of different streams on it, and it was very simple. I have a problem where the kid wants to bring the gun to school. Why does the kid want to do that? I have a bigger problem that this gun was physically accessible to a 6-year-old. We had already had the parents of the Chumley kid who left the loaded gun in the sock drawer where the kid got it and took it to school. And now we have a 6-year-old bring a gun to school. Does the 6-year-old have a damn clue right and wrong? Not really. Mom, Dad need to be responsible. We need to be responsible. I'm a firearms owner. You may not have figured that out. I don't leave guns laying around where kids can get them. Now, I don't have any kids personally, but when kids are in the house, there are no guns where kids can put their hands on them, loaded or unloaded. And knowing what it takes to rack the slide, I'm guessing that Mom not only had the gun loaded where the 6-year-old could get it, likely there was one in the tube. So Mom's got a loaded chambered firearm laying around where the 6-year-old could get it. We're fortunate that the teacher is okay, not fatally wounded. We're fortunate that we don't have another kid fatally wounded on the playground where he was waving it around. And we're fortunate that Mom didn't get shot by the damn thing. This, to me, is the height of irresponsible firearm ownership. And again, I'm a gun owner. I'm a firearms instructor. I'm as pro 2A as they come. But remember, folks, if we're going to own a firearm, we need to be freaking responsible about it. How about it? I support this woman's 2A rights to keep and bear arms. I don't support her right to leave a loaded gun with one in the tube laying around where the 6-year-old can put hands on it. And I think we as a gun community need to call our own out when they do wrong. I'm a great one to call people out when we do right with our good guy or good girl with the gun segments. Call Mom out when she does wrong. And she did. Now, Mom, as of 4/10, the other day was charged. It's been noticed that she's been indicted on 2 charges. First of all, felony child neglect. Apparently not watching her munchkin well enough. Okay. Don't know all the details on that. But the charge of recklessly leaving a firearm so as to endanger a child, I'm 100% on board with it. Charger. You do something stupid, yeah, I'm 100%. She should be able to buy a firearm. She should be able to protect herself, her kid, whatever. I'm on board. If she leaves it laying around, does something this stupid, and someone got shot because of it. And again, luckily it's not worse. Kid had a little bit better aim. He could have put it in the teacher's face. Kid could have shot in the, we could have had a couple of first graders shot. So definitely, I think we need to not only ourselves look how we're storing our stuff, but, mom got charged on this one. I'll give the prosecutor the thumbs up on that one. I'm not hoping she gets any jail time. Probably she'll plead down the felony charge, get a couple of misdemeanor charges, maybe do some community service, something like that. Maybe have to go out and do gun safety lectures or, something. And hopefully in the long term, she's able to come through this and she learns from this, and everybody, we can take this tragic situation and make it a learning curve. Not only for firearm owners about keeping the shit locked up, but for, parents watching their kids, taking care of their kids. And I get the fact of, someone's kicking down your door, you don't want a safe with 14 codes or anything else, this, that, and the other. But, folks, I value my firearm rights. I value your firearm rights. What better way to lose them than have irresponsible gun owners doing stupid stuff in first grade classrooms getting shot up? Because what? Mom left the gun where the 6-year-old could get it. Okay, second case update we have for you. Mr. Alec Baldwin. As of 420, we thought it was a 420 joke. It wasn't. The manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin have been dropped in Arizona, New Mexico, where he's been shooting the movie Rust. Charges have been dropped against him related to the shooting that occurred. If you recall, Hannah Gutierrez Reed was the armorer. Helena was the cinematographer. Well, the charges have been dropped against him related to the shooting that occurred back in October. Now, interesting to note, if we look at the fine points and the details, the manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin have been dropped without prejudice. Now, for those of you who are not attorneys, if you have charges against you that are brought and the prosecutor decides to drop them, they can do it with or without prejudice in most jurisdictions. If they do it with prejudice, it means that case is closed. They can never recharge you again. If they do it without prejudice, that means they don't feel they have enough to go forward right now. They can investigate more and always bring it back anytime they want. Now, why would they want to do it without prejudice? Well, there's been a couple thoughts. One of the thoughts, and I got this from a friend of mine when I was discussing it with him, he works in law enforcement. He says, it's strange to him that the manslaughter charges get dropped without prejudice as opposed to with. So that gives the prosecutor leave to represent the charges at a later date. The fact that it also happened within 12 hours of them resuming filming on the movie Rust. So if they're trying to resume filming on the movie Rust, and he's got this manslaughter charge hanging over his head, that could be a little bit problematic. Think about it. If you've been charged with manslaughter, you may well be out on bond. You may well have a condition of that bond, especially with it being a firearm-related manslaughter, that you're not allowed to handle a firearm. Well, in this movie, he does have to handle firearms. So, again, I don't know this. This is total speculation, mental gymnastics, and craziness. If this turns out to be right down the way, y'all can come back and say, damn, Sully, you do have a clue. Or maybe I'm just speculating and I'm an idiot. I don't know. We'll give you either way. There is a possibility that the reason the charges were dropped without prejudice is to take this manslaughter charge that he was charged with that's hanging over his head, temporarily take it off the table, which would allow him to be able to handle firearms for the remainder of the movie. At the end of the movie filming, when he's done with that and he no longer has to handle firearms, they can recharge him and run it through the criminal justice system at that time. Do I know this to be the truth? No, I don't. Is this total speculation, mental gymnastics, 14 leaps of faith? Yes. It, quite frankly, is a leap of faith that after the prosecutor's office went to all the trouble and all the expense to put the case together, that they're not just going to walk away. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Secondly, the charges are still pending against the armorer on the set, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Now, I don't know why he would get his charges dropped, why they'd do it without prejudice, why they'd still have her charges there. Are they planning on coming back and doing something after the movie? I don't know. Total speculation. Few of us, kicked it around. But the one thing we do know is if someone's indicted on a manslaughter charge or charged with manslaughter, many times they'll have a no weapons condition to their bond on a violent felony like this. They have a no weapons condition. That includes on a movie set. You could not hand him a firearm on a movie set. Much in the same way as if someone is, charged with making telephone threats or internet threats, they might be told by the judge, you can't have a smartphone. Well, if he needs to be able to be filmed holding a smartphone, again, maybe it's to let him complete the movie. I'm thinking, just again, crystal ball here. His attorney goes in and says, look, we can't have the trial in time and do everything in time. Can we just suspend the charges without prejudice long enough to let him film the movie and then reinstate them? Maybe they're doing it that way. I don't know. The assistant director, David Halls, he had pled guilty already. He's received 6 months in it for his part in the adventure. Like I said, charges still pending against the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed. This young lady was the theoretically responsible one on the set. I will say, and I'm going to give her a little bit of a, asterisk on this one. Technically, on 99% of the movie sets, I would say, okay, the armorer screwed the pooch. And I think to an extent she screwed the pooch on this one too, but there's a but there. One issue she can have, Alec Baldwin was the executive producer. He was running the show. They were filming during COVID protocols. She was not allowed to be in the set where he was. She was having to watch remotely due to COVID protocols. Now, we take COVID off the table, and this is the gun. The armorer would be handing Alec Baldwin the gun. It would be pass to pass, direct pass with all, needed safety protocols. The reason that we don't have her handling the gun right before it's given to him, the reason she's not even on set when the firearm's being used, which is a big Hollywood no-no, you can go back and look at the video, was all the COVID rules. So, yes, she screwed up. Yes, there were a lot of things she did wrong. You can watch the stream of it. On the other side of that coin, though, I'll give her a little bit of a piece of grace, trying to be fair. I try to be fair. Nothing is black and white. Nothing's 100%. Nothing's 0%. We give her a little bit of grace because in this setting, she was pushed off the set because of COVID. So the person in charge of the guns isn't there when guns are being used. Imagine that. So now it's like, well, where was the armorer? Why wasn't she there? Look, it wasn't her fault she wasn't there. The executive producer, some guy named Alec Baldwin or something, wouldn't let her be there because of COVID. So we had a little issue with that one. Okay, onward and upward. Next little update we have, and this is a kind of a big one. For those of y'all who didn't hear, last week, Saturday night, there was a shooting. It was April 15th. It was a birthday party down in Dadeville, Alabama. And it was a birthday party, Sweet 16 party for a young lady. And tragically, Someone opened fire. Something happened. We don't know specifics. 4 people end up deceased. 32 injured. Several of them still hospitalized. I think they said 4 either critical or serious condition. So the number 4 deceased may rise up. Right from the get-go, I heard this, and they're telling 28 people injured, 32 injured. It's like, wow. 32. I have is, okay, was this one shooter with Drum Magazine who did a spray and pray? Was this a drive-by? Was, what? 32 people? Pretty, hate to say it, but high numbers. They hit their numbers. They hit the bonus round on that one. And you start wondering, because again, as someone who teaches firearms and who teaches active shooter stuff and everything else, how in the hell do we get 32 people hit? I mean, honestly, how long does it take to fire 32 shots with shots just going through and through people with things bouncing? All the questions that go through my mind on the get-go. Well, maybe it was multiple shooters. Who knows? Well, throughout the week, the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, ALEA, as well as local law enforcement, has been working pretty damn diligently on the case. Got to give them a lot of props. We went from Saturday night when it happened, when there wasn't even a suspect description published out to anyone, to they've now, as of middle of this week, have arrested 6 people total in the attack. 6 people. Now, we need to sort of come back for a second. I don't know if 6 people went into the Sweet 16 party and started shooting. I don't know if 3 people went in and there were 3 good guys there and there was a massive crossfire. I don't know if 4 and 2 or 1 and 5 or there were 5. One guy went in and 5 opened up on it. I don't know. I don't know if the 3 were on the same team or different teams as the other 3, or if it was all 6 on one team. Don't know how it jumped off. We do know from statements from the DJ that the mother of one of the people who was running the birthday party, the Sweet 16, did make an announcement shortly before that everybody who has a gun needs to get the hell out, needs to leave. So we had responsible adult parents there telling people, if you got a gun, this is a Sweet 16 party, you got no business with it, get the guns out of here. Nobody left. Moments later, shots rang out. Lots of shots rang out, apparently. Again, I don't know. Party crashers, what? Not a clue. Don't know how any of the demographics on it. I'm going to be following this as it goes to trial. Hopefully we get a little bit more information. I will give law enforcement their props. 6 in custody within a week. Definitely very nice work on their part. Doing right for these 4 youngsters who lost their lives. Again, when you look at the people who lost their lives, we're talking like high school kids. We're talking one's a high school senior, was supposed to be going to play ball. He was a local high school hero, made good and got himself a scholarship, and now he's shot and dead. So, a Sweet 16 party turns into Hogan's Alley. Not sure how that happened, but we'll be waiting to find out. Now, the part that pisses me off and the part that gets me a little bit irritated. What do y'all see here? I'll give you a hint. As we look at it real closely, our shooters. What do we know about our shooters? Well, hint. The arrested suspects, these 6 people who are arrested and charged with 4 counts of murder or manslaughter, I'm not sure exactly what the charge is, but that are being charged in the death of these 4 people and all these severe injuries. 17 years old, 16 years old, 20 years old, a 15-year-old unnamed juvenile, a 19-year-old, and a 20-year-old. Now, out of those individuals, out of that group of 6 individuals, when you consider the minimum age to carry or possess a firearm in the state of Atlanta is 19, there are 3 there that none of them should even have a gun. None of them should be able to leave the house or put hands on a gun. We're coming back to that 6-year-old who brings mommy's gun to school. We're coming back to the 15, 16, and 17-year-old punk-ass kids. I'm going to call them out. And they could have been the good guys in this. I don't know. And if they are, I'll call it back later. But up to this point, a 15, 16, 17-year-old decided it was a bright idea to go to a Sweet 16 party strapped and packing heat. Folks, we got problems here. And number one, it's to me, condemnation of any kind of gun control. Because, even the mayor of the town said, trying to do gun control around here would be about as useless trying to get drugs off the streets. They're probably right. But we've got 3 individuals that are involved in this who, what? They're how old? Yeah. 15, 16, 17 years old. Now, the 19-year-old and the 2 20-year-olds, at least they may be able to legally carry a gun at their age. Don't know about their history, don't know about any legal history, haven't had a chance to deep dive into any of that. This was just announced a couple days ago, but I thought it was really wild that we had 6 in custody out of this adventure. 6 people with guns at a Sweet 16 party decided to turn it into basically the equivalent of Hogan's Alley. Folks, I don't know. These folks, again, they may be the good guys who were coming to the rescue of their friends. They may be the good guys who thwarted the attack from the other. I don't know. But I'm going to be watching it because at some point, why do we have, these folks opening up fire in a Sweet 16? And looking at it, some of them were from towns, and they stated, they came from 30 miles away. Who is from 30 miles away that goes to a Sweet 16 party? 20-year-old, we go to a Sweet 16 party with a gun. The media has been a little bit quiet on the arrests on this. And again, I wanted to sort of bring it out just because of the fact that, hey, look, we've got some issues. And I'm not going to say we don't have issues. I get it. I totally understand it. As far as people wanting to, carry their guns, this, that, and the other, would I probably carry if I was going to some friend's kid's birthday party or something? Yeah, I'd probably carry. But I sure as hell wouldn't turn it into Hogan's Alley. I wouldn't be involved in 30-something people getting shot. Now, maybe one of these people, like I said, was a good guy. Maybe the 2 of the kids, the youngsters, came busting in with guns trying to rob the place, and the 19 and 20-year-old returned fire, and that's why we didn't have more people killed. I don't know. I'm going to be watching it. I think it's interesting to look at, and we've got to think a little bit. And I know I've got a plan for a stream later in this week about, being not only, yes, we can carry it, but should we, and when should we not carry it, as far as being good CWP holders and good firearms owners and responsible citizens and all that good stuff. Because, there's a little something more to this one in my book.